Alright, here's those original PCBs. Probably won't need those again, but we'll keep them around until we're done with the project. Welcome back to the Land Rover Discovery Steering Wheel Upgrade Series. In the first video, we took a look at all the components needed for this job. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the printed circuit board switch packs and getting those new pieces installed. And in a future video, we'll be doing the installation into the vehicle. Today, we've got quite a few steps to go through. So, let's get started. Step 1. These gold-plated circuit boards route the steering wheel control functions to the ECUs. On the left, we have the cruise control and Tiptronic shift, and on the right, we have the call control and heated wheel. Just looking at their shape, you can see how they fit right in up here. Okay, we got a left and a right side printed circuit board, and a left and a right side switch pack, and today we're going to combine that stuff. On the left, we've also got the transmitter for the Tiptronic paddle shifters. So these pieces will go together and be installed up here on the left. And on the right side, we're going to be able to install the heated switch module, and these pieces will go together on the right. Step 2. Remove the 6 screws on the back of the wheel to access the switch packs and Tiptronic shifter modules. I'm using this ratcheting tool with the Torx T20 here, and I've got a pretty long extension because some of these screws are pretty deep down in there. You can see these are a little bit shorter. This is really where you need that deep fitting here. That's number 5, and I'm going to keep it out to show you the length difference. The ones that hold the Tiptronic shifters in place, they're a little shorter. The other 4 are going to be that big. So there's number 5, and number 6. Step 3. Unplug 4 electrical connectors. There are 2 on each switch pack. Okay, next we've got these 4 electrical connectors, but to get to them, we're going to need to spin this thing over and take out the switch packs. To get these switch packs out, there's these clips right here. You might just get a narrow screwdriver. You can kind of apply a little bit of pressure here, and they'll come right out. Now, let's get a good look in here. This one is pretty easy to tell what to do. You can just use your nail right here. And it's the bigger of the 2 connectors, so there it is. Now, on this smaller one, you might want to use your tool once again. And you'll see there's a slot in there. Yeah, so you can just take your screwdriver into this slot. There you go. And then you can just pull it right out. There you go. So that's 2 on one side. Let's do the other side. Once again, we're just gonna apply a little bit of outward pressure on the switch pack, and you can see how that moves when I pry there. Doesn't take much. I don't even have to do this bottom one. Okay, and now to do our connectors. Once again, this larger connector, might be nice to get your finger under it like that. Just use part of your nail and slide this one out. Of course, you always want to be pretty careful with these kinds of connectors. Nothing worse than breaking something like that. Okay, now that we're done with the large connector, we'll get this smaller one, and you can just feel into that slot. You don't want to pull hard on this. You want to push down on the small piece that's holding it in. There it goes. You'll know when you get it because it comes right out. Let's take a look at it actually. It's a very small little nub there. So when we're pushing in on the slot, we're kind of pushing that in enough, helping it move. Okay, so this we can set aside because now we're going to be focused on these. Step 4. Remove the 10 crosshead screws on the back of the switch packs, 5 each. Maintain a firm grip so that the housing does not separate yet. Okay, here's the left and right switch packs, and when we turn them around, you can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws. So let's loosen those. As we take these off, we're going to want to keep everything face down. One of the tricks I like to do is use a magnet to get some of those things out. God, I missed. I see it. So you can use a magnet. Listen to it. 3, 4. And 5. So that's one side. I'm going to leave this face down so it doesn't come apart, and I'll show you why in a minute. Let's do this one. See if we can do a little bit better job. Right. 1, 2. And 5. So guess what? 5 and 5 is 10. That's all 10. Step 5. Remove the 2 crosshead screws on the heated wheel switch housing. Okay, 2 more. Now I'm going to hold this together so it doesn't come apart and show you that this is the switch pack on the right side. This is where the heated button is. And there's 2 screws on this side. They're the same as the other ones, so you can just mix them right in. 1. 2. 2. Okay. Awesome. Put that back down face down. Don't let it spring apart on you. Step 6. Warning, loose parts. Don't invert the switch packs after unscrewing. A silicone membrane interfaces with small white push rods. Lift the housing slightly and wiggle it before full removal to keep those loose push rods in place. Okay, here's where I want you to be careful. A bit of a warning. When we pull this apart, see how that comes off like that? The reason I want you to be really careful, we'll do it on this one too. Kind of wiggle it. There we go. This warning is all about these little white push rods. Every button has one of them. There's some on the side here for the horn as well. And they're just loose in there. They can go flying. I'll show you inside here. We'll do that next. Because there's a couple. That's how all the button functions work. Actually, let's just do it right now. Okay, we made sure to heed this warning, and as we separated the two housing halves, we were very careful because all of these white push rods are loose. Now, for the heated function, there's a separate housing, and I'm just going to carefully rotate this around, and it just comes right off. And did you see that and hear that? So these are the white push rods we're talking about. They interface here with the buttons. Unless one's in here now. There it is. Oops. I'm gonna have to shake this upside down. There it is. And so you can imagine they're probably all different kind of look and feel. You got to get them in all these special spots. But how they function is they sit right here on what actually activates the circuit boards. This is what the warning's all about, is these little white push rods, and there's one for every button. And so here's the switch. Man, look at this. We just got the whole thing falling apart. So you're gonna just want to be pretty careful. Have to deal with that a little bit later, but let's look at these push rods. They go in these narrow little slots like that. Watch this, right in there. So that's what we're talking about. That's what this warning is all about. You're trying not to kind of like have stuff fall apart like I did here. That's the right way. So we're just going to really carefully set all this stuff to the side. Step 7. Remove the silicone membranes from the boards and set them aside. An interesting note about these things are the embedded LEDs which sit in that silicone membrane. This is what lights up when the functions are active. Okay, we got this stuff set aside. We're not going to bump it. Now let's move on to these silicone membranes. You can see they just kind of peel up here. And there's one here as well for the heat switch. Now these things are pretty cool. You might see a little glimmer in there. So anywhere this circular connector is, those are LEDs. It's pretty cool. I'll put this right there so I don't lose track of it. I'll pull this one off as well. You don't want to kind of peel them so much as pull them off without curling it too much. They sit on a couple of pegs. That's how they're seated. But yeah, those are LEDs, these little units in there. So you could think about cleaning them off a little bit if you wanted to, those contacts. And what happens is they contact the board here, and that's how your buttons illuminate. So let's put that one there. And let's do this last one here. Pretty easy. Just kind of peel them right off. Like that. And just kind of keep track of it up there. There we go. There's three of these silicone membranes. One for the heat and 2 for the main boards. Step 8. Release the 2 tabs holding the heated steering microboard. Okay, we can set the left side aside, and we're going to use these 2 ramps on this microboard for the heated wheel switch. You can see these 2 little black things. Let me point them out a little bit for you. Here and here. They're kind of shaped like a ramp, and you can push on them a little bit. So if you push on those, it'll let you release this board. Push on that ramp, it's just kind of bending it a little bit, that plastic ramp. Just be kind of delicate anytime you're working with a printed circuit board. And we're not going to reuse these, but it's still always good practice. So there you go, we've released that. It's attached by a ribbon cable to the main board. Let's deal with that next. Step 9. Gently lift the printed circuit boards to remove them from the housings. Okay, we released those 2 clips, the 2 ramps on the microboard. I'm just going to lift right here in this corner. Let's see if we can get a good shot. The reason it made that noise, you want to go lift as straight as possible, and I'll show you why. See those long pins down there? So these pins go through some specific slots. And now we can just feed the microboard up through the housing like that. Set the housing aside and set that main board aside. Let's do the next one. This one doesn't have anything off to the side. If you have adapted cruise control, that's what will be here. I don't have that, so we can just lift this straight off. Again, you're going to want to be delicate with this stuff. So you can kind of work it from a couple of sides, get it started. Comes right off. Set the housing aside, and there you have it. We've lifted those PCBs right out of the housings. Step 10. Printed circuit board comparison. OEM versus aftermarket. Alright, here we're getting a really good look at the original equipment manufacturer, the boards that came with the Land Rover, and down here's our aftermarket boards from Black Box Solutions. Now, there is this extra micro board, and that has to do with the Tiptronic shifters. It uses a wireless control module, and we're going to look at that in the next video. For now, we'll just install it on the left main, and that's pretty cool. But yeah, let's just compare OEM and aftermarket right here. You can see they're the same shape, they're going to fit right in. Slightly different construction with the aftermarket ones being gold plated. Same thing for the right side main boards. Same shape, same functions, just different gold plate. And here you can also get a look at how this ribbon connector is straight into the board on the OEM unit. But with our aftermarket unit, go ahead and connect this in with this 10-pin header. We'll do that in a minute. Step 11. Attach the heated steering microboard connector to the right side main board using the 10-pin header. Ensure it is firmly connected and the red stripe aligns to the green arrow on the board. Okay, I'm just going to set these left side boards over here while we work on the right side main. We've got the 10-pin connector, and on this ribbon cable we can see that one side has a red stripe. So what we're going to do is line that red stripe up to this green arrow. We'll just make sure that it goes straight in like this. Feel it go right in. Nice and firm connection there. Okay, and this ribbon cable will have a little bend in it when we install it into the wheel. It's nice and flexible. But yeah, green arrow, pin 1, red wire. Just like that, we've got the 10-pin connector so that our heated wheel controller micro board is into the main board. Step 12. Attach the Tiptronic transmitter micro board to the left side main board using the 10-pin header. Ensure it is firmly connected and the rubber block is seated against the board. We're going to set this aside. We're going to do something very similar with the left main. So on our left main we have another 10-pin, and here we have another 10-pin connector. Now this goes on at a little bit of an angle. You can see that the connector has a bit of a skew to it here. This can kind of only go on one way. And you can also see this blank spot on the main. That's where we want to make sure that this rubber comes in contact. You can see the solder on this side, so you can line it up that way. Just sits right in like that. Okay, I'm just gonna do this connection at an angle for you so you can kind of see how this just goes straight in like that, and the rubber block sits right up against the main board. So there you go, we've got it seated fully. And now, the left and right boards are both ready to go. Let's install them. Step 13. To assemble the switch packs, gently place the PCBs back in their housings and refit the silicone membranes. Okay, time to assemble. Let's just take the old stuff and set it aside, and we'll do the left side first. Now, when we assemble this, we can get an idea. See how this is at a bit of an angle here? That explains the angle here. When we go to assemble this, we're gonna be aiming for these holes with these pins and this slot with this board here. So we can just kind of put it together sideways like this. Make sure everything's lined up. Feels pretty good. Snapped into place, ready to go. Let's do the other one. Okay, now as we get ready to do the right side, I just want to show you on the left side, these locating pins, you can see how they rise proud, and there's also this horizontal pin. It's kind of interesting the way the board sort of grips that. That'll provide a bit of resistance, and when everything's in there snug, you'll see it's below this lip here. But you're just going to want to make sure that the board is perfectly flat, and these locating pins are proud of the board. Let's do this other side. Time to assemble. Now, on this one, we've got the extra board that kind of snakes its way through, so let's do that first. This board goes through there. Twist this into place, and we'll locate this second. And then this locating stud here, and this hole here. There's another one on this side. So we want to get all those things kind of lined up at once. Just like the other side, we'll go nice and steady, nice and level from the top. Once again, we're going to be paying attention to these holes, which these pins go into. try and just go straight down. Kind of feel it get into place there. I'm not using any force here, just kind of skating those pins around on the surface until they find their holes. There it goes, over there. Got it on the pin. How's the back doing? There's back pin. You might have to, if one side goes in too far, it really needs to go in level, so you might have to come back out a little bit to get that level alignment. Has to go in flat. There it goes. Now, take your time. There's no rush here, and you really don't want to bend these pins. That's probably the most important part, is not to bend these pins. So, feel for those. Once they feel like they're about in the right spot, then you can go and, they started to go in, but see this side I need to bring down level. Go. Snapped right in. Both the locating pins are nice and proud. Plenty of room for this ribbon cable to kind of wrap up in there. And in fact, we can seat it next. So, okay, so we can kind of bunch this ribbon up. It's already bent just right. And there's these two notches, one on this side and one on this side. And then those ramps are going to go through too, so those notches act to locate it in the housing. I'm kind of fighting against that ribbon cable, so make sure to get plenty of clearance, push it out of the way, and this thing will go right home. Oh yeah, there's this bottom notch too. That'll help a lot. Just like that. Okay. Oh. Time to go to the next step. The last assembly step is the silicone membranes. Let's start with the heated wheel switch. And these things just go right on like so. Now, you might just run your finger across it there to feel like it's all in there. And everything should fit flush. You can see those locating tabs are coming up proud out above the board. That's important. Just pay attention to that all around. Okay, same thing with this one. You can just kind of feel everything go into place. The same locating pins which help get the boards in right, that's what these membranes fit onto. So you can see I'm kind of using my finger on those too. And you can even feel the switches if you want to. So there's that one. And last but not least, the left main board. Just like that. Okay. Nice. That's it for assembly. Step 14. Tighten 2 screws for the heat switch. Okay, next thing we want to do is tighten a couple screws on the right side. So let's just set this out of the way. And we're going to hold this up on the side. Now, we want to be able to see the logo for this switch here. And remember, that's where those white push rods are. So let's be very careful and just kind of tip these into place. can test it. I think we're good. Let's get a couple screws. Here's one. And here's a second one. Kind of set them where they go. Now we can go ahead and tighten this. My HoloLens, it tracks where my fingertips are. So that's what these cursors are. But there you go. We've tightened those two screws. That feels good. Step 15. Tighten the switch pack screws using 5 for each side. It's time to put the two halves of the switch packs back together. Let's start with this one. And remember, we don't want to invert this. That's what our warning was about earlier. All those push rods will go flying. So instead, we're going to very carefully hold the silicone membrane in place and turn this thing upside down. It should kind of slide right into place where it goes. Make sure nothing looks kind of funny here. There it goes. There was this alignment slot there. And before you screw it in, you can kind of just feel a few of the buttons. It's pretty delicate until you get it screwed together, so don't go crazy. Okay, we got 5 screws to tighten. There they are. Let's do it. Start. Kind of tricky to get them down in there. The last one is another kind of tricky one right here. Okay, let's just get these started. We're not going to go all the way tight. Just want to make sure things aren't going to fall apart on us. Okay, and before I tighten those up, I'm just going to test everything. Feels okay. Now let's do a tightening pass. We got number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Okay. Same thing on this side. Okay, let's tighten the last 5 screws on the left side switch pack. Just gonna carefully invert it. Just like that. We can line this slot up. That's really what I'm looking for. Kind of feel some of those buttons on the bottom. They feel pretty good. Let's get our screws set in place. And this one's a little easier to reach with this hand. And this is the hardest one down in here. Okay, let's tighten the 5 of them. Start in the middle, why not? Cool. Step 16. Press every button a few times to ensure they are moving freely. If something feels strange, you're going to want to take it apart again, try and identify the problem, fix it, and then put it back together. Now, just to make sure everything's working all right, it's probably a good idea to press all the buttons. Make sure they return. Make sure they all feel equal. Horn's working. Everything seems good. Left side's checking out. Let's try right. Horn's good. Call controls. Heat switch. bottom, up, down, mode, seek, left, right, next track, back a track. And while we got these, you know, those pins we were looking at before, that's what our wiring connectors go to. So the pins on the PCBs, those end up being perfectly aligned here for our connectors that we'll get into next. Step 17. Clean the mounting surfaces. So before we put these switch packs back into the steering wheel, now's a pretty good time to do just a quick clean down in these corners and stuff that we're never going to really be able to get to again. So you can just kind of take a brush in there and get whatever kind of debris may have collected over the years. Just like that. Step 18. Plug in the 4 electrical connections, 2 on each switch pack. Alright, it's time to plug in these switch packs. Let's start with the left side. Now, it's probably easiest to do the smaller connector first. And you can see that there's a small notch on the connector input. So this thing can only really go in one way. There's a notch on the connector itself. We'll slide it right in. Just like that. Get it to snap. You don't really want to pull on the wires, but I'm kind of pulling on the connector head itself. It's nice and snug. Next thing is the larger connector, and this groove here is going to go into that groove there. I didn't really pull on the wire, instead I pushed on the switch pack this way. But now that's in there, make sure none of this stuff's in the way. And these 2 prongs go into the cast wheel here. There's also a tab here. You're going to want to make sure that this tab, the switch pack goes over that tab. So those are our 3 alignment tools, and snaps right in. Cool. So now let's plug in the right side. Same thing, different side. Okay, here we go. It's all plugged in. Switch packs are just about ready to go. Step 19. Install the switch packs and tighten the 6 Torx screws on the back of the steering wheel. Okay, to finish the install on the switch packs, we're just gonna flip this thing over. Got our Tiptronic shifters just kind of dangling here. Want to get those nice and seated. Make sure that this wiring isn't kind of pinched. And if you'll recall, the shorter screws. So we've got a long one here and a short one. The short ones go to the Tiptronic housings. Right on. Step 20. These are all the tools required for the printed circuit board switch packs. This is the last step. We had a nice flathead screwdriver for removing the switch packs. The screws were actually held in with a Torx T20 bit, a long bit. We use that ratchet. We use a little brush to clean things off. A Phillips screwdriver for taking the housings apart on the switch packs. And a magnet for getting those screws, and that was really helpful to make sure we didn't disrupt all those push rods. So those are the 5 main tools we used, and you could call it 6 if you want to include our screw keeper bowl. So that's it. It's a pretty easy job. So just like that, our printed circuit board upgrade is complete. We've got these old ones. Maybe we'll keep them around, make sure everything works before we toss these. They used to live right in here. But stay tuned, and in the next one we'll put this steering wheel into the Land Rover. Make sure everything works the way it should, and go from there.